Far Cry 2 is a weird game. It was Ubisoft's first real attempt at making Far Cry its own thing after Crytek. This game was made before they had that run of focusing on towers and outposts, at least in the traditional sense. The game does have outposts that the player can clear and liberate, but it does nothing and enemies spawn there either way. Far Cry 2 reeks of that 360 PS3 era with a gray and brown color palette that games like Gears of War 1, Metal Gear Solid 4, Resident Evil 5, among many others, chose to adapt. It really makes the game not visually interesting at all. This actually fits with Far Cry 2, and I'll explain why after you leave the video a like and subscribe to the channel. They both help me out a lot. Thanks. Far Cry 2 is dark, but the gameplay systems are fittingly gritty as well. First off, your guns damage and rust over time. Not just visually degrading, but it can lead to jamming and eventually just the gun exploding in your hands. A pretty neat mechanic, and definitely underplayed to what would actually happen if that were to occur. Guns you pick up from enemies are more weathered than ones you buy in the shop, but eventually they all explode just the same. Another one of those details is the ability to shoot branches and leaves off of trees and any other brush. Since most of the time you'll be fighting on the roadside or in the woods, safe to say those poor trees will sometimes end up in the crossfire. They'll shed and fall apart, clearing the way between you and the bad guys. This is for the best because for some reason the enemies have zero issue spotting you through the greenery. It can feel really cheap when you have no idea where you're getting shot from. Throwing a molly in their general direction works too. Everything that can burn will burn, making the area look like a wasteland once the fire clears. This all sounds cool, but I really think Ubisoft missed the forest for the trees here. Pardon the pun. I found the game really shallow in terms of replayability. All the missions consist of killing someone, destroying something, or taking down a convoy. In an open world, there needs to be options to keep the player engaged. All the game does to try and keep you engaged is randomly send enemy vehicles to chase you, like we're playing a JRPG. Going to and from missions, even if you're just passing by an enemy, they'll follow you to the edges of Africa. If they're in a jeep with a turret, you have no choice but to fight back, or they'll damage your vehicle to the point where it can become undrivable, or just destroy it entirely. On the plus side, this keeps driving around interesting since there is no radio or anything else to keep your goblin brain in the game. Here I am asking for a radio knowing damn well I'm turning that shit off anyways. Repairing vehicles is also really goofy. The buggies, boats, cars, jeeps, everything is repaired by tightening one bolt over and over. It gets silly very quickly. There aren't really any characters in the game. There are NPCs and people you interact with, but no one really has any personality that you get to know on any deep level. There is a buddy system who are these mercenaries that will come save you if you get killed in the field. Most of these buddies are options that you get to play as when starting a new game, since you yourself are a mercenary. None of them have any personality though. They can give you an extra option to do when completing missions, but most of the time they're just useful for saving you and just talking really fast.
It's what I do best, help people. I help whole village practically back home. 10 nieces, 12 nephews. No kids for you? Good, not here anyway. No place for kids.
Thing is, everyone in the game talks like this, especially the main antagonist, the Jackal. I could not take him seriously at all.
You can tell them you tried, but that means fuck all, doesn't it? You're fired. You know it, and so do I. You had your shot, but now it's over. And since men like you only work for money, you're no longer my problem.
The other quote-unquote characters in the game are the various leaders of the armies you'll be doing jobs for. You go speak to them, and they typically belittle you, insult, and try to intimidate you before giving you the job anyways. They'll hand you a folder with diamonds in it before you're set on your way. The game truly starts after telling you to do missions for both of the armies, the UFLL and the APR. Doing missions for them will advance the story. The headquarters for these armies are in the middle of the map in a ceasefire zone. For warring armies, how kind of them to be stationed down the street from each other. You know they have a mission for you when you see this yellow triangle with an exclamation on the map. I can't exclaim enough that you must do jobs for them to advance the story. If you gloss over this pop-up or just forget the importance of it, the game does not remind you. If you press pause, it'll tell you to do any of the missions with that triangle, even though the rest of them on the world map are just side missions. The side missions do allow you to lock more weapons and equipment to be purchased in the store. The store is at the pistol icon on your map on a computer. You can buy weapons as well as weapon, vehicle, and character upgrades here. Everything you purchase is next door on the wall, with free ammo to stock up. Buying anything requires diamonds. The armies give you a good amount of diamonds before doing a job for them. You can also find diamonds in the open world when your detector starts flashing. Opening your map will bring up this device with a smaller local area map on it. It has a green light that will flash and eventually stay solid when you look in the direction of diamonds in the wild. The map itself though is inaccurate. The arrow that represents you is off center by a noticeable degree. Many times I'm driving down the middle of the road, but the map shows I'm on the shoulder to the right. It's just something I couldn't unsee, and now neither can you. A nice touch is that you can press X with the map open to change the scale of it. I use it to zoom out to get a better idea of where the objective is, and then back in to see which roads I should take to get there. That's most of the game though. Accepting a mission for the army, going to the mission, getting attacked on the way, doing the mission, then getting attacked on the way back. Rinse and repeat. I did, however, not mention a big part of the game. Malaria. Time to time, you'll get a little tipsy and need to pop a pill before you fucking unalive. You only get a small amount of these drugs to use, so when you run out, you have to take breaks from main missions to do these fist missions on your map. These missions are basically done by bringing refugees their passports, and then they'll give you some drugs. The problem with this mechanic is layers deep. First off, it interrupts anything you were doing, and it takes time to actually take the medicine. The timing between getting the malaria attacks is also inconsistent. I feel like sometimes I go extremely long without it, and other times where it happens insanely fast. The last problem I have with it is that this is a video game. I believe that things that inconvenience the player should also benefit them in some way. Just like when you purposely go off the story path, you expect to find loot. The meme about finding treasure behind waterfalls. If you took a malaria pill and got a movement speed boost or something, would have made it much better. I've also seen that some people have no problem with it, but that just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's Far Cry 2. A very weird game overall. One that focuses on details and immersion, but less on gameplay and fun factor. This game has been getting more and more praise, so I'm curious to hear your opinions. Please leave a comment down below, and remember to leave a like and a sub to the channel. Follow my socials in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe.